Lena had always believed love was simple, something steady that didn't crumble under the weight of small disagreements. From the moment she met Aaron, she felt an inexplicable connection, like their souls recognized each other in a crowded room. He had this calm presence, the kind that made her feel safe even in the chaos of her own thoughts. Their relationship had grown naturally over 3 years, each moment deepening their bond. They had their routines, quiet but comforting coffee in the mornings, soft music in the evenings, shared laughter over silly jokes, and the way Aaron would always reach for her hand when they walked together. Lena thought love was unshakable, that it could survive anything. But that illusion began to crack one ordinary Thursday evening. When Aaron's tone carried a weight she had never heard before, he had been unusually quiet that day, scrolling through his phone with a distant expression. Lena tried to strike up a conversation about her work, about the book she was reading, about anything, but he only gave short answers. She felt a flutter of unease but tried to brush it off, telling herself it was just stress from work. That night, however, everything changed. Aaron looked at her with eyes that seemed to avoid her own, and his usual warmth had shifted into something she couldn't place, I think. "We need a break," he said finally, each word deliberate, almost apologetic. The words struck Lena like a physical blow. Her chest tightened, a sudden rush of panic flooding her veins. A break. What did he mean by that? Was it temporary? Was it permanent? She felt her throat tighten as she searched his face for reassurance, for some sign that he wasn't ending everything they had built together. But there was no reassurance. It was only a quiet sadness, an edge of guilt, and something Lena didn't want to acknowledge, a truth that was creeping slowly but surely toward her. Aaron tried to explain, his voice shaking slightly. "I need space, Lena. Space to think, to figure out who I am, what I want. I care about you, you know that, but I feel lost and I don't want to hurt you by being uncertain." Lena nodded slowly, forcing herself to stay composed though. Her heart felt like it was cracking inside her chest. She wanted to argue, to beg him not to leave, but the words wouldn't come. All she could manage was a small, trembling nod. She watched him gather his things and leave their apartment, the door clicking shut behind him with a finality that seemed louder than any argument could have been. The apartment, once filled with warmth and shared laughter, suddenly felt cold. An empty. The following days were a haze of routine distractions. Lena threw herself into work, answering emails, finishing projects, and keeping herself busy. She met friends for coffee, went for long walks, and even tried painting again, something she hadn't done in months. Yet, no matter what she did, her mind kept drifting back to Aaron. She replayed their last conversation repeatedly, analyzing every word, every hesitation, every pause, looking for clues, for something that might explain why he needed a break. Even as she tried to focus on other things, a quiet fear began to grow inside her. What if this break wasn't temporary? What if Aaron had already made a choice that didn't include her? The thought was unbearable, but she couldn't stop it from creeping in, like a shadow that followed her wherever she went. Then came the message. Lena was scrolling through her phone absent-mindedly when a notification appeared from a mutual friend she didn't know very well. The message was short, almost casual in tone, but it felt like a bomb exploding inside her. "I think Aaron is seeing someone else." Her hands trembled as she read the words again and again, hoping that somehow, by some miracle, she had misread them. But deep down, she knew she hadn't. A rush of emotions collided inside her: anger, heartbreak, disbelief, and a strange, hollow sense of betrayal. How could he do this while asking for a break? How could he betray the trust and love they had shared so openly, so honestly, for 3 years? Lena tried to reason with herself. Maybe it was nothing. Maybe it was just a misunderstanding. But the gnawing doubt would not leave her. She found herself checking social media, noticing small changes, looking for any sign of another presence in Aaron's life. Every little detail became magnified. Every post, every comment, every shared photo became a puzzle piece that could confirm her worst fears. Her nights were sleepless, filled with the endless loop of memories of him laughing over coffee, brushing his fingers through her hair, whispering promises that now felt like echoes of a past she might never return to. She remembered the way he used to look at her, eyes soft, full of warmth and adoration. Now, she wondered if those looks had been real or just fleeting moments that masked a deeper truth she was only now seeing. One evening, Lena decided she couldn't endure the uncertainty any longer. She needed answers. She needed to know if the love they shared was truly gone or if there was still a chance to salvage it. With a trembling hand, she picked up the phone to call Aaron, but before she could dial, doubt struck again. Would confronting him make things worse? Would she hear the words that would finally shatter her completely? She paused, her finger hovering over the call button, feeling the weight of the moment pressing down on her chest. She remembered the little things. About Aaron, the way he always remembered her coffee order, how he would leave little notes in her bag, the quiet support he gave when she faced challenges at work. It was hard to reconcile those memories with the possibility that he could betray her trust so easily. She wanted to believe he would never hurt her, yet a small, insistent voice in her mind whispered that the truth could be far more painful than she dared imagine. Days stretched on, each one heavier than the last. Lena tried talking to friends, seeking comfort and advice, but even their words felt hollow. They could offer sympathy, understanding, and suggestions, but no one could tell her the truth. That truth lay solely with Aaron, and it was something she feared yet needed to hear. The tension built with every passing moment. Lena's thoughts were a whirlwind of fear, longing, and despair. She found herself pacing her apartment, her heart racing, replaying every detail of her life with Aaron. She remembered the laughter, the quiet evenings, the shared dreams, and the tender moments that had once made her believe in forever. Contrast between those memories and the harsh possibility of betrayal was almost unbearable. One morning, she decided she couldn't wait any longer. She needed to see him, to hear it from his lips, no matter how much it might hurt. She reached out, sending a simple message, "Aaron, we need to talk." The message was sent, and the waiting began. Each minute felt like an eternity. Her mind raced through scenarios. What if he denied it? What if he admitted it? What if the love they had built was truly over? The uncertainty gnawed at her, filling her with a restless anxiety she could not escape. When Aaron finally replied, agreeing to meet, Lena felt a mix of relief and dread. She arranged to meet him at the cafe where they had spent so many quiet mornings together, where they had laughed and shared secrets, where their love had felt safe and unbreakable. The thought of seeing him there, in that place that held so many memories, made her stomach churn. She felt vulnerable, exposed, and yet strangely determined. She needed closure, one way or another. As she prepared to leave, Lena took a deep breath and looked at herself in the mirror. She whispered to her reflection, trying to steel herself for whatever truth awaited her. "No matter what happens," she said softly, "I need to know. I need to hear it. I can handle the truth, whatever it is." Her heart pounded as she walked toward the cafe, each step heavy with anticipation. She wondered what she would say, what she would feel, how she would react. She tried to prepare herself, but deep down, she knew that nothing could truly prepare her for the shock that was coming. As Lena approached the cafe, she saw Aaron sitting alone, staring at his coffee cup, hands trembling slightly. His posture was stiff, his gaze distant. A part of her wanted to turn away, to run, to escape the pain she knew was coming. But another part of her, the part that still loved him, that still hope urged her forward. She walked in, heart racing, and for a brief moment, the world seemed to hold its breath. She stopped at his table, and their eyes met. There was a flicker of recognition, a moment of hesitation, and then the silence settled over them like a thick, suffocating fog. Words felt impossible. She opened her mouth, closed it, tried again. The truth loomed between them, unspoken but undeniable. Lena realized with a sinking feeling that the life she had imagined, the love she had cherished, might be slipping through her fingers. And in that moment, as she took a seat across from Aaron, she knew one thing with absolute certainty. The truth awaiting her would change everything. Lena sat across from Aaron in the quiet corner of the cafe, the same cafe where they had spent countless mornings sharing laughter, dreams, and whispered secrets. The smell of coffee and fresh pastries, once comforting, now felt heavy, almost suffocating. Every detail around her seemed amplified this soft hum of conversation. The clinking of cups, even the sunlight slipping through the windows. It all pressed against her, reminding her of the love she thought was safe and steady. Now teetering on the edge of collapse, Aaron's hands fidgeted with the coffee cup before him. He avoided her gaze, staring down at the swirling patterns of cream mixing into his coffee. Lena watched him, her heart pounding, knowing the words she dreaded would soon be spoken. She wanted to ask, to demand, to force the truth out gently or angrily, but the fear of hearing what she already suspected kept her frozen. He started, then stopped, as if searching for words that could make this less painful. Lena leaned slightly forward, her voice soft but firm. Aaron, please, just tell me the truth. Are you seeing someone else? Aaron's hands tightened around his cup, knuckles turning white. He swallowed hard and finally lifted his eyes to hers, the weight of guilt and regret written plainly on his face. Lena, I didn't want to hurt you, he said, voice shaking, but yes, I met someone while we were on a break. The words struck her harder than she had imagined. Lena's chest tightened and her stomach lurched. For a moment, it felt as if the world had slowed, the sounds around her fading into silence. She wanted to scream, to shake him, to make him realize what he had done, but all she could do was sit there, her hands gripping the edge of the table, trying to hold herself together. Aaron's voice continued, heavy with remorse. It wasn't planned. I didn't want this to happen. I never intended to betray you, Lena. I thought taking a break would help me figure things out. But I got lost, and I made a mistake. A terrible mistake. Lena's mind raced. She remembered all the quiet moments, the laughter, the warmth, the intimacy that wasn't physical but so deep it had felt sacred. How could someone capable of such love also be capable of this betrayal? She felt her eyes burn with tears, but she held them back, refusing to give him the satisfaction of seeing her break down completely. You broke us, Aaron, she whispered, voice trembling. We had plans. We had dreams. We had a life together. And you let it all slip away. Aaron looked down, ashamed. I know. I can't undo it. I can't take back what I've done. I can only tell you that. Still care about you. I still love you. But I've hurt you in a way I can never take back. Lena's heart ached at his words. Part of her wanted to run into his arms to forgive, to pretend it hadn't happened. But another part, a deeper, wiser part, held her back. Love alone wasn't enough to mend the wound he had caused. Trust, once broken, didn't return easily. She felt a storm of emotions, pain, betrayal, longing, and a strange, lingering love that refused to vanish, even in the face of heartbreak. She took a deep breath, trying to steady herself. Why, Aaron? Why couldn't you just tell me if you were feeling lost? Why did it have to become this? We could have fixed things together. We could have fought for us. Aaron's eyes filled with tears now. I was scared, Lena. I didn't want to disappoint you, and I didn't want to hurt you by showing how confused I was. I thought I was doing the right thing by taking space, but I failed. I failed us both. Lena stared at him, the man she had loved more than anything, the one who had been her safe place, her partner in every dream. And yet here he was, confessing a betrayal that left her world shattered. Her mind raced through every memory, every shared moment, every promise whispered. Late at night, it all felt like a fragile illusion, something she had clung to. now crumbling before her eyes. For a long moment, silence stretched between them. Neither knew what to say. The weight of unspoken words, regrets, and lost love pressed down on them, making it hard to breathe. Lena finally spoke, her voice small but firm. "I don't know if we can come back from this, Aaron. I don't know if I can trust you again, even if I wanted to." Aaron's gaze fell, sorrow etched into every line of his face. "Stand. I don't expect forgiveness. I don't deserve it. I only wanted to be honest with you before it was too late. I wanted you to hear it from me, not from someone else." Lena felt tears spill freely now, sliding down her cheeks. She didn't wipe them away immediately. She allowed herself to feel the full weight of her heartbreak, to honor the pain that love had brought her. She had given so much to this relationship, her trust, her dreams, her vulnerability, and now she had to let go of the illusion of what she thought they had. She took a shaky breath and looked at Aaron. Really looked at him and saw the man. He truly was not the perfect partner she had imagined, but a human being, flawed, capable of love and mistake alike. And in that recognition, a strange clarity emerged. She didn't have to hate him to heal. She didn't have to forgive him to move forward. She only had to reclaim herself. I need time," she said finally, voice steadying despite the tears. "Time to think, time to heal. I can't just pretend this didn't happen. I can't just go back to the way things were." Aaron nodded slowly, understanding her words, accepting them, though pain flickered across his face. "I know. I'll respect that. I'll wait if you want me to, but I know I may have lost my chance forever. I deserve that. I only hope one day you can find peace, whether it's with me or not." Lena stood, gathering her bag, her heart still aching but stronger in her resolve. She gave him one last look, a silent farewell to the love that had once filled her life with warmth. "Goodbye, Aaron," she whispered, stepping away. Each step freeing her a little more from the chains of heartbreak. Outside, the sunlight felt sharper, brighter, almost cleansing. She breathed deeply, the cool air filling her lungs, a small comfort in the chaos of her emotions. The city moved around her, oblivious to her pain. Yet somehow, that indifference felt liberating. Life went on. And so would she. In the following days, Lena allowed herself to grieve. She cried when she needed to, laughed when a memory of happier time surfaced and slowly began to rebuild her life. She spent time with friends who reminded her of her worth, immersed herself in work and hobbies she had neglected, and took long walks to think, to reflect, to feel alive again, even as she healed. Lena couldn't forget Aaron entirely. The memories of their love lingered, bittersweet, like a song that played softly in the background of her life. But she understood now that love, while powerful, was also fragile. It could inspire joy and hope, yet it could also leave wounds that required time and courage to mend. Weeks turned into months. Lena found herself smiling again, not at Aaron, but at life itself. She discovered parts of herself she had forgotten, strength, resilience, and the ability to love herself fully. And with each passing day, the pain of betrayal softened, replaced by a quiet understanding that some endings were necessary for new beginnings. One evening, she walked past the cafe where she and Aaron had met so many times. She paused, looked at the familiar corner where they had shared so many conversations, and felt a pang of nostalgia. But it wasn't sadness that overwhelmed her, it was gratitude. Gratitude for the love she had experienced, for the lessons learned, for the courage to survive heartbreak and emerge stronger. And as she continued walking, Lena realized that the story with Aaron had not broken her, it had shaped her. It had shown her the depths of her heart, the strength of her spirit, and the limitless capacity to heal, to forgive, and to love again. She didn't know what the future held, and she didn't need to. For the first time in a long time, Lena felt free from the shadows of betrayal, free from the weight of uncertainty. and free to embrace the life waiting for her, with all its challenges, joys, and possibilities. Her heart still remembered Aaron, but it no longer belonged to him. It belonged to her. And in that quiet, unshakable moment, Lena understood the truth of love. Sometimes it breaks you. Sometimes it leaves you speechless. But if you survive it, it makes you whole.